Christmas morning, Thomas Coville, mere hours from the end of an epic journey, overcome by waves of emotion.
You're now approaching French waters. On behalf of all the sailors in the Navy, we want to wish you a warm welcome back.
Fantastic. What a great gift. Thank you. Thank you so much.
By nightfall, his tremendous feat was official. Alone on a 31-meter trimaran, the 48-year-old Frenchman had sailed round the world in just 49 days, demolishing the previous world record.
Okay, we are in the southern hemisphere, making great time.
Starting out from Brest on November 6th, Coville never eased off a breakneck pace. He shaved a full day off the record as he rounded Africa. By Cape Horn, he was 4 days ahead. By the finish line, he had slashed 8 days off the 2008 record set by fellow Frenchman Francis Joyon.
It took an enormous amount of talent, work, preparation, technique and courage, because in a multi-hull boat, if you capsize, you're dead. It's not like a regular boat, it's very rough. 50 days around the world, all alone in a multi-hull. Wow, magnificent.
Throughout the grueling voyage, Coville slept only 30 minutes at a stretch. On Sunday, one final night at sea, joined by his technical team. 7 exhausting weeks of solitude finally over, the celebration just getting started.
Yeah, okay, I think a record will be broken. It'll be interesting, it'll be about the conditions, but it'll also be about the crews who sail the boat best. And there'll be some risks tactically to be taken, and it'll be those who actually take those, and smartest enough will make profit out of it.
to Hobart.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very
This
much.
has got to be the sweetest victory.
It, yeah, look, it defies a lot of the worries we had. This is one for the true believers. We kind of came together as a team really sensibly this year. We picked the right people, but we worked on it. So many people believed in it. They wanted us to keep going. So we came back that RSHYR and it paid off.
So smashing the race record by nearly 5 hours, good in itself, but were you a little upset that the duel with Oates ended premature?
Yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a shock to us. I remember saying to a couple of you guys before we got a couple of things about sleep for the race. One of them was our being running, and we worked on the things in the off season that the boat was bought at. Then after that, we trained really well with it. We didn't really, we weren't in shock at the stage with the maxi on the first day. We weren't meant to. I'm sure a lot of people thought that the BMG running side of the boat down the coast was going to be more favourable to the skinny boats. But we did a good job there. And then the next overnight we came out and pretty well. And we moved up on it. It was sad to see the break. We saw it. We were probably neck and neck. Actually, I know we showed on the track of it. We were that far. We were probably less than a mile away from them when it happened. And they were deep than we were. And we saw the boat tilt right over. And we saw them come to a sudden stop. Our first worry was that Oates might have lost a crew member overboard. We radioed them. We gave them a quick steer and said, hey, if you're in trouble, we'll have to stop the race and go over and help the guys. The fortunate thing was no one got hurt, and we didn't have to stop sailing the race. But yeah, we would like to have played on against them. We thought we were fair shot against them for our preparation. But that's racing. We've broken down. In strong times, I'm sure they'd agree with that. That's just what it is.
Mr. John Marcos, the Commodore of the CYCA, hands it over to the winning skipper. What a beautiful thing that is, to the winning skipper.
Jim Delegat from Giacomo is here again this year for the Hobart race after a fairly eventful one last year. So Jim, you're back for another bashing or what?
Well, it's something we always look forward to, isn't it? It's quite a challenge.
Well, masochism has got to reign supreme, hasn't it, in sailing?
It's one of the great days on the Aussie calendar, isn't it? But yeah, we're back and we're very excited about where we're at. And it's the kind of game that you never make predictions about. But the forecast isn't looking too bad. I think it's going to be a fairly fast passage, and we'll just have to, sail the boat well, really.
Well, listen, have a good race.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you again next year. Let's hope you've had the Tattersall Cup in your hand.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of us hoping for that, but it's a lot of fun trying.
It certainly is.
Nice chatting to you.
Second hand. I don't know how to shake hands with you either. No, well, I'll tell you what. Thank you very much. Thank you. I forgot to film. Greatly appreciated. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is marvellous. Thank you. Thank you.
Jim, this way, please.
Come on. Nico,
Everybody in this way.
thanks very much. It's fantastic.
Repeat.
At noon today, only 130 miles separate Alex Thompson from Armel in a tactical duel arbitrated by a high-pressure bubble blocking the passage at the level of Uruguay. There's still a great way back to Les Sables d'Olonne. I'm trying to get through this high-pressure area and gain some wind. Sailing upwind in a few hours, and then we'll be able to summarize, maybe in a week or so. We'll see then where we stand with Alex. Jean-Pierre Dick should be crossing the Cape Horn towards the end of the day, provided the weather shows helpful. I find myself in an enormous dead wind zone hoping to set off again. It's a great disappointment today. My head start on Jean-Luc Ham and Yann Elias will be reduced to nothing. That's it. That's the way it goes, but it's tough.
hope we can catch up on Jean-Pierre. It would be cool if he could eat some slack. Ease off, maybe for 3 hours at least. That's for sure. Now, if we could get to not too far behind, and you see the weather system? Good. At the heart of the race, the Irish skipper Enda Cooney decided to reroute towards Stewart Island, south of New Zealand, to do several repairs in calmer waters. More in the back, last night Romain Tanazio gave himself a real scare. I spent the night in hell, I can tell you. I woke up in the dark, put my feet down, it was full of water. Water all over. I go see the trapdoor right here. 200 liters of water was behind it. I look for my beacon box and it's gone. The seats are completely torn off. I go out, the beacon was in the drain hole clogging it up. A perfect plug. So I take it out, empty it all, put everything away, go back in the boat. The phone rings, a call from the Australian security telling me, "You've activated your beacon. Are you okay? Should we send the rescue?" I tell them, no, it's a mistake. It turned itself on by mistake. So now the beacon is in the pressure cooker. Absolute madness. And finally, Paul Meillat, who had abandoned because of keel problems, arrived safely yesterday in Polynesia. Thank you. Thank you so much. This morning I was still on my own. It warms my heart because it's difficult to give up the race. So to be welcomed like this definitely makes me feel much better.
And tacking our boat. And away we come. Right. Okay. Nice job. Hold it there, Jim. Straighten her up. Okay. Hi there. My name is Michael Coxon from North Sails, Australia, and I sailed on Maserati, the Volvo 70, with the Cooney family down to Hobart this year. Really fun boat where Jim Cooney, the owner, sails with his two of his children, James, who's 18, and Julia, who's 19. And they're key players on the boat, and we had a mixture of high-level club sailors from the CYC and also some pro Volvo sailors that we brought in to boost the experience for the Hobart race. Yeah, a great race from Sydney to Hobart this year. It's my 29th race, and it was by far the quickest race I've ever done, other than the last mile and a half. Yeah, and yeah, we basically were third in the Volvo 70 Maserati, coming down to the coast of Tasmania, and then got overhauled by Scallywag, the 100-footer, and then we held off the 80-footer O'Jest into the mouth of the river. And also on Maserati, we were very happy with our race right up until the last mile and a half, where we could see the finishing line, and it took us 4.5 hours to do the last mile and a half of the race, and to higher or lower rating boats, as in higher rating boats, as in Boat Jest, an 80-footer, and also Blackjack, who's a souped-up 70-footer. Both just pipped us on the post, so we went from up to I think 6th overall in our finishing, but we're very happy with the result. It was a really interesting race, and we all knew it was going to be fast, but I've never got down to the river this quickly. And in fact, as I say, within sight of the line, we would have actually on the 70-footer beat Wild Oats' record also. So it was an incredibly fast race. What I call an easy race. And we had to push the boats hard because we had fresh running and reaching, but the race was relatively straightforward. It was not a difficult technical race. There was probably only the first evening when the little trough came through, broke the nor'easter up, and then the breeze went a bit fickle and around the clock. I think that's where the boats made their move, and I think the boats that did well were Giacomo She was alongside us when it went fickle, and she did a better job through there, and she went out to sea further, and quite an amazing job. They finished second overall on line honours, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're leading on IRC. A pretty impressive performance on their part. I think the disappointing thing for me to see was Wild Oats pull out. She was up there jostling with the lead with Loyal at the time, I believe. And it's sad when a boat pulls out who's prepared so well. I believe they had a keel ram problem, but I'm not quite sure of all the details. And to see Loyal up there, I've done the Hobart the last 6 times on Loyal, and I didn't this year, but to see Anthony, I was with him when he won in 2011, and to see him get line honours this year is a real credit to him and his team. He's put a really good program together in a short period of time.
What sort of sails percentages were you using in different tournaments?
Well, we mainly used, the sail we used the most was what we call our A3, which is a Cuban fibre spinnaker. That's our all-purpose reaching spinnaker. And that was new for the race. Volvos are pretty powerful boats, and the Cuban makes a very stable sail that's has a very, very wide range to it. You can carry it quite deep, and you can carry it pressured up. It's strong enough for pressured sailing. The other sail we used during the race was what we call our A4, which is a nylon sail, which we used on the first afternoon, and that served us very well. And as I said, we were third on the track for a lot of the race. So we're pretty happy with that.
What sort of boat speed are you getting?
Generally speaking, the Volvo in those conditions goes greater than wind speed. So average is probably 1.5 to 2 knots faster than wind speed. And so our boat speeds range from, we were sailing in conditions of probably 10 knots through to just under 30 knots. In 30 knots we probably hit speeds of 25, but in 20 knots you'll get 22 knots of boat speed, no problem at all. So pretty fast race and just a direct straight line. So it was a pretty enjoyable race in that way.
Originally you all went out wide from Sydney to meet.
Not so much current. That's obviously a contributing factor, but it's more to do with the fact that the breeze was forecast to lift, and as it lifted, you then jibe and then come back on the favoured leg. And what we're all doing is looking for the window to get through the front that was coming through, the little trough line, and you're looking for the narrowest gap through that. And we all knew that the boats that picked that well were going to break through that, and then the rich get richer. You feed back into the pressure again. Pressure came back from the southeast and then went round to the east and freshened again. So the quicker you got through that little trough line, the better your race was. And that's where Giacomo really did a great job, because she popped out of that very quickly.
Ludde Ingvall from CQS here. We had a very interesting trip down the Australian coast, as expected. It was the first time the crew were together as a whole crew, and it was also the first time that we sailed in anger, I would say. We started off doing some dramatic stuff. I said to Dico, take it easy at the start, we just want to get out alive, and I realized probably at the 5-minute gun that Chris Dixon's taking it easy is quite different from most of us. So we were quite a bit too aggressive at the start, got ourselves into trouble with the starboard boat. Our biggest problem is we draw more than everybody else, so there are areas where we can't go, and the smaller boats can. So we were caught port starboard and had to tack. And as we tack, the engine stalled, so we couldn't get the keel across, and there'll be some dramatic pictures of that. We will find it happens every now and then to us, so it's not the first time and won't be the last. The trip down, we're experimenting in the beginning. We're basically just taking the foil in, foil out, putting different flap settings, seeing how she reacted. So we weren't too worried that we went as fast as we could. We obviously just wanted to learn as much, and when we started to hit speeds over 30 knots, we obviously reached the limit of what some of our engineering could do, and we lost the tiplets on both foils. And that stage we had an option to turn around and go back, which we're not very good at giving up. So we continued knowing that the likely outcome was that our flaps would tear off, and they did with big bangs. The carbon snapped and the back end of the foils disappeared. With that, we got a whole lot of vibration on the boat, and we had to withdraw the wings and have them to windward. Problem with that was that it made it very wet. Every wave after that would hit the wing and spray the entire crew, so it was like being in the worst of a Whitbread around the world race in the Southern Ocean from the none of us. But the crew was amazing. I'm really proud of them. I will sail with them anytime, and I'm very honoured to be the skipper of such a crew, so we enjoyed that a lot. The boat shows amazing speed at times, and then we obviously know where the flaws are. We expected certain issues as to when the drag is higher than the lift, and therefore we don't get a positive outcome from it. So we're already working on our third foil, which will be finished mid-January, and then the fourth foil goes in production when we finish testing of that, and slowly getting the boat better and learning how to use it.